Hello, welcome to Revision with Ratiocination. I'm Miss Burt and I'm going to lead you through revising writing so that you are able to improve your communication with number 1, sentence variety, and number 2, more engaging diction. Let's take a look at the note taking that you will do so that you can work independently on your own a little bit later. You're going to need a sheet of paper where you will create either a chart with 3 columns like you see here, or you can fold your paper to create an anchor chart that you can use to record your information just like this. So either you will draw the lines or you will create a foldable. When you ratiocinate, you mark the text using a code. You focus on a clue, also known as a problem area, and then you have decoding information or directions on what and how to change your writing so that it is more engaging to your audience. We're going to take a look at my sample essay, and we're going to mark our text using parentheses so that we can identify if I have a problem with sentence variety. So generally what you'll do is you'll put parentheses around the first 3 words in each of your sentences, and I'm going to demonstrate that. However, I'm only going to use 1 paragraph for time's sake. Let's focus on the first set of sentences that repeat the same words/ideas. Heroes, a hero, and heroes. My reader might be bored. So when you're intentionally repeating words is one thing, but when you're just repeating words and it doesn't do anything to stimulate your reader, that's another thing. So what can we do to change our sentences in the beginning so that our readers can stay engaged? Well, one thing we can do is utilize synonyms. You can look in your dictionary at the bottom where you have a thesaurus, and you can locate synonyms for words that are repeated within your essay. So I'm going to change 2 of my 3 repeated words that prevent my sentences from having variety. When making revisions, you generally change half of the problematic areas within your writing. So since I had 3 for that set, I decided to change 2. So instead of using heroes, I decided to change to champions. I left hero here, but instead of using heroes here, I decided to go with idols. Now, let's take a look at my second set of repeated sentences. We look up, we might not, we could all. So using the exact same strategy that I used for heroes wouldn't necessarily work here. I'm going to have to say it another way. So I'm going to have to rearrange my sentences so that they begin with different words but express similar ideas. One way to think about revising your sentences is to think about a WOOBUS. You've probably heard of the acronym in middle school or in elementary school. AWOOBUSes are subordinating conjunctions that give you a menu of options in terms of ways that you can begin your sentences. So I'm going to take a look at a list of AWOOBUSes and decide which ones I might be able to use to change my sentences. A list of AWOOBUSes are as follows: as, although, after, while, when, unless, because, before, if, since. So what I'm going to do is make a decision as to 2 AWOOBUS words that I will use within my sentences to create variety. You'll do the same when it's time for you to revise your sentences for variety. I've decided to use while and because to add variety to my sentences. So if you'll notice, in my original sentence, I already have the word while. So I simply need to revise what I'm saying to put while at the beginning of my sentence. So I'll go from we look up to some heroes because they're inspirational, while others are lifesavers. Now I'm going to change it so while comes first. My new sentence reads, While some heroes are lifesavers, others are simply inspirational. So in order to punctuate correctly, I want to add a comma, and I'm going to put parentheses around the first three words like I had it before, just in case I start to make changes that are repetitive. I don't want to do that. I don't want to change from we to while. Now, let's take a look at my second sentence that I'll change. So I will add variety to the way I'm communicating my ideas. My new sentence reads, because heroes are not always daring, someone like you or I could be one. So I need to add be because I left that word out. And now, if you look at my first paragraph, my sentences are varied, and so it would be more engaging for my audience. Now I think we're ready to take a look at our chart and record our information on how to make revisions for sentence variety. Remember, you'll want to look at your ratiocination chart or your ratiocination foldable to get ideas for revision when it's your turn to revise your paper. For our decoding or the directions for independent work, first, you can try replacing repetitive words at the beginning of sentences by using synonyms. The second thing that you could try on your own is using an awubis word to vary the beginning of your sentence, and that way you're saying your ideas in another way that engages your reader. Next, we're ready to take a look at revising for diction. Many times in our writing, we use words that are not the most expressive or the most descriptive words. So what we want to do is utilize a variety of words that convey exactly what we want to say in a way that engages our reader. Let's take a look at some of the mundane words used in my essay. Difficult, dedicated, work hard, I used it 3 times. Think, I used twice, and then selfish. What words could I use that would get my reader's attention so that they are more engaged in what I have to say about heroes? So when I think about the word difficult, as I showed you before, I could utilize the synonym helper within Word if I have my tablet. So difficult, demanding, challenging, problematic. Let's see. Even when it's problematic, I like the word problematic, so I'm going to make that change here. For dedicated, I could take a look at my synonym helper and change my word to something like steadfast. And for hard work, I could change them to diligence, or I could change one to diligence and the other to synonyms of diligence. I'll do that now. The changes I made are devoted, diligence, persist, and endure. Those words are much more impactful than the repeated words that I had before. Decoding diction requires you to try replacing half of your ordinary words to impactful words, and you can use either the synonym finder within Word or your thesaurus at the bottom of your dictionary. You're all set to begin revising on your own. Good luck.